Hi, my name is Brandi Johns. I work at TLC Community Credit Union. I'm a member service representative. I do also lending, so I do consumer lending, which means like if you want a car or a boat or anything like that. I also help with any of your accounts, so like if you have a dispute or if you have a POA or trust or anything like that. So I help with different things like that. I am here today to talk to you about my trip that I went with my husband to Tennessee and also to Georgia to see my favorite animal, the otter. So we flew into Nashville and stayed there for the day. Then we went down to Chattanooga, Tennessee, stayed with some friends. But the otters lived in Georgia, Cleveland, Georgia to be exact, at the North Georgia Wildlife Safari. So we booked an hour and a half, and they took all the pictures there because, curious little creatures that they are, you are not allowed to take your cameras and or phones in with you because they will eat them. And if they get them, even if you hit it, they would pull it out of your pocket, they would bite it, and they would throw it in the water. So that's what some of the things that we're going into before she was explaining to us about the otters. So I had rings and watches. I was not allowed to take them with me because they like shiny things. So there was 4 otters in total. The first ones were Rainbow and Hannah, and they sat on our laps. And we were not allowed to scritch them and pet them in ways. We had to flat hand pet them. The reason why is because they would think we were a predator and they thought that we would eat them if we were scritching them. And then the whole time they're holding on to our arms and our legs and they're just sitting with us. And then they kept going onto my husband's lap. And then he's like, no, go back over there. She wants you. So then that was like the first half hour. Then the last time that we went in there, we went in a pool that was up to our waist with water. And Noah and Brooke, that's when Brooke came in. And Noah was actually very famous. He went to Jimmy Fallon and actually was recorded and he did tricks there. But him and Rainbow were mates and we were their last session ever, which was really cool because they mate for life. So they actually retired after we saw them. So we were his last interaction with people, which was kind of cool. We swam with them. He brought us little boats. He'd go into the water and then he would bring it back up and we'd hold our hands out and he would give it to us. But the coolest part was you held out your arms and they laid on your arms. So they were Asian small clawed otters. So they're no bigger than my arm. And you can feel their heartbeat against you. Almost cried. It was so great. Also on that trip, we also went and saw 3 baby red pandas. They lived up in Knoxville. So we drove up that day, and actually they came from the John Ball Zoo up in Grand Rapids. That's where they were born. But then the Knoxville Zoo made a little habitat for them, and they had them come and live there. So Willow, Rose, and Ruby were their names. They were all out in their glory and in their little jungle area and their little trees, and they slept most of the time, but it was so great. So that was my trip to Tennessee and Georgia to see otters and red pandas.